So everyone right now is going crazy about this upcoming DLC for Witcher 3, and there's just so much unconfirmed information all over the place that it seems hard to keep a track of what is going on. So in this video I wanted to keep it super concise, like everything we currently know, what are the sources of this information, and what is really going on. Are we really getting a brand new Witcher 3 expansion for an 11-year-old game as soon as May this year? So the main reason that people are talking about this for the past few weeks is that this is not really some fanfiction BS leak, because we have two main sources of this leak. IGN Poland as veteran industry insiders with legit information in the past, some really credible sources of financial analysts, and as you may know, with finances it's hard to hide things if you plan to make big profits, and most importantly, out of all the evidence, we got the official response from CD Projekt Red when they told us no comment. I mean, just based on this alone, it is really as good as a confirmation that something is happening behind the scenes, because they wouldn't really want to lead us along if they didn't have something planned, but they probably don't have it ready just yet for the official reveal, so they don't really want to elaborate on that, because if nothing was going on, they would have definitely disproven it. Now, people are trying to keep their expectations low, and they're saying that this is just going to be some new quest line or some Easter egg sort of thing as a DLC to bridge the gap between Witcher 3 and Witcher 4, but all the evidence so far points to this not being the case. Furthermore, I know it seems kind of unheard of for a company to release a new expansion for an 11-year-old game, but when you think about this logically, it makes so much sense. I mean, Witcher 3 is not just some game, and CD Projekt Red is not exactly a company that pumps out new titles every year for profit. They're obviously very dedicated to the Witcher series. As you may know, Witcher 4 has been far in production and it is set to release sometime next year. They're even hiring a full team to work on Witcher 1, which is nearly a 20-year-old game by this point. So they're hiring a full team to remake a game from 2007, and also this entire remake of Witcher 1 is related to the release of Witcher 4. Now, Witcher 3 is actually a record breaker. It has sold over 60 million copies. It is in the top 10 most sold out games of all time in all of gaming history. Would it really be so outlandish for them to release a new expansion, paid the new expansion, and make a ton of money with how big the player base is? Furthermore, this works great with a Season 5 of Witcher Netflix, it works great with the hype up for Witcher 4 and getting more players involved with the series before they release the new game. Now, here is the actual evidence itself. So one of the lead financial analysts says he's 100% certain new content is coming based on CD Projekt Red's financial targets for 2026, and they're expecting a major revenue driver to hit their current goals before Witcher 4 release. In late 2025, one of the lead CD Projekt Red guys said there is a chance for a new content as hinted in the recent calls. Now, this is from the insiders. The supposed leak information is that the studio Fool's Theory is working on this expansion, and they're the same guys that have been hired to make the Witcher 1 remake. Based on financial information, it is expected that they allocated a $30 million budget for this, and the release date is set to be crazy soon in May this year, which coincidentally is also the 10th anniversary of the release of Blood and Wine, which, while a DLC, was nearly a whole new game. This also indicates that they're going to announce this very soon if it really is May this year, so we might be out of this leak speculation territory any day now. Now, the leak further states that based on financial calls and reports that the price is set to be around $30, which indicates that this is not really a DLC, but at least the size of Heart of Stone, but likely as big as Blood and Wine. I mean, keep in mind, obviously, dollars have changed quite a bit, they're not the same in 2026, but Heart of Stone was initially $10 and Blood and Wine was $20, so this indicates that we're talking about a DLC the size of Blood and Wine, which really is a full-on expansion, not really a DLC. Now, people are trying to obviously keep their expectations low, so they think this DLC will be something like a new cosmetic feature, but really, DLCs were never really a cash grab in this game, and they were always free, like these really small updates. Now, on to what is most credible and what we could expect. Now, you might have seen the talk of Zerrikania, and the info is kind of all over the place, but it is actually mistranslated from an article from IGN Poland, and they said that they had information a few years back that CD Projekt Red was considering it, so the evidence is not strong, but we do have some really interesting hints to tie this up. I mean, think about this. Blood and Wine was written as like the conclusion to Geralt's storyline where he retires. Witcher 4 is all about playable Ciri, who at this point is already a fully fledged Witcher. Obviously, this expansion would be a bridge where Geralt finished his thing, but he is now returning to help Ciri become a Witcher and get started. I know people are probably expecting playable Ciri in Witcher 3, but a DLC for Witcher 3, I don't think that's going to be the case. It just doesn't seem feasible with all the armor and all the quest lines and everything, because really, this would have to be a whole new game. So a DLC where Geralt helps Ciri establish herself and start Witcher 4 would really be a great idea. We'll get people to play Witcher 3 before Witcher 4 as a prequel, instead of this weird jump where the main character just suddenly changes. Now, Zerrikania, despite kind of the leak territory here, is actually really interesting. It's constantly mentioned in the game and it's drastically different, but we have some really interesting lore to tie this up. So first of all, in the books, Ciri wandered the Kora Desert, which is very close to Zerrikania, and it is also kind of the similar scenery, and could really be established as some sort of unfinished business. See, in Zerrikania, a witcher school was established known as the School of the Manticore, established by the Queen, and Zerrikania itself is notable for their female warriors and have established lore where the School of the Manticore experimented with warrior women of Zerrikania by trying to turn them into witchers, but we don't have further sources into how that went. Seeing that witchers become sterile after the mutations, the process does seem to be gender dependent, so it would make sense the city would venture into the remnants of the School of the Manticore to turn into a full-on witcher, and Geralt would help her with that. Of course, here a whole another storyline could be added with witcher contracts and everything. The big problem people have is that they feel like it will be too much work, as Zerrikania is so drastically different, so they would need all these new assets, and that is of course the case, but really, they already made so many new assets for Blood and Wine, it wasn't really reused. I mean, Zerrikania is notable for being isolated, mountain ranges, warrior women, dragon cults, exotic beasts, a perfect place for a witcher and something completely new. I know people are trying to keep their expectations low to not hype this up and get completely disappointed when this ends up being either nothing or just some random new cosmetic or like a single questline, but I really don't understand why people think this would be so outlandish that they would make another expansion similar to Blood and Wine. I mean, first of all, Witcher 3 with the updates is completely playable, looks amazing even now in 2026. This is not like some PlayStation 2 game. Furthermore, as I said, they sold over 60 million copies. It's one of the most sold out games of all time. They stand to make a ton of money if they release a big new paid expansion, and it ties in perfectly with timing and marketing for Witcher 4. I mean, the leaked budget of $13 million is not that even crazy of an amount for just marketing campaigns some companies have, and I think this expansion as a prequel to Witcher 4 and Ciri would actually serve great for marketing purposes. Of course, you might get new info any day now, we will see what happens, but it does appear some really exciting times are ahead for the Witcher series. Thanks for watching, do subscribe to the channel for more content like this and let me know what you would like to see on the channel. See you next time!